Viewers, mainstream media is subjected to libel laws. If we put out content that without proof maligns someone, or we give voice to individuals who without proof malign another individual, we can be tried for defamation, both civil and criminal. But social media, Twitter and Facebook, that carry unverified content, fake news, and even worse, news that can influence the minds of a voting public because it could be rancidly polluted with all sorts of misleading facts and conjectures, are not subjected to any oversight by the law. That's about to change, because this time Twitter's boss, Jack Dorsey, who is known for his rabid anti-right position, and has also come out here and insulted a number of Hindus and fraternized with the Lutyens Brigade, has tried to challenge US President Donald Trump by starting a new feature which will constantly fact-check Donald Trump and expose his falsehoods in a very public way. So the US President has signed an executive order yesterday seeking to strip the social networks like Twitter of legal protections for actually providing a platform to individuals who bend the law, who spread fakery, hate, and who, of course, demonstrate bias against one whole intellectual stream of thought. And viewers, it is being done because till now they were insulated because they themselves did not take a position. They only hosted individuals that took positions. Now with Jack Dorsey crossing that Lakshman Rekha and becoming identified with a particular stream of thought and positioning himself as a leftist in the larger political context and the backdrop of the US elections, Trump says he has become a publisher, not just a platform. Now the point is, viewers, according to, and this is not a newspaper that I subscribe to or I even identify with, The Guardian itself. The Guardian has come out and has told us that Twitter has a bias. In fact, they quoted a report by the Knight Foundation in January this year, estimating that Twitter users, for more than half of the users, which was center-left, another 10% were classified as extreme left. So viewers, 67% of Twitter users have a bias against another stream of thought, which is either center-right or rightist. In fact, only 8% of users worldwide on Twitter are considered to be center-right, with the remainder being at the extreme right. So viewers, we have seen how Twitter has tried to also censor those with a right leaning in this country, even ahead of the elections. So a whole stream of BJP leaders, politicians, sympathizers was censored by Twitter. They were not allowed to tweet. Now viewers, this is active intervention, and a large number of those that subscribe to the right of center ideology are today saying that the Modi government should act and strip Twitter of its immunity. And I want to ask some of our guests tonight what they make of this, because let me tell you, Twitter has a position in India, and let me take you through some of what has been said. It has been pulled up and cited for interference in the Lok Sabha polls. Fake accounts, pages allegedly allowed to mislead voters. Dorsey himself posed with a smash Brahminical patriarchy poster. He was charged with hate-mongering and maligning India, and he was summoned. If we just press the continue button there, he was summoned by an Indian parliamentary panel to explain himself. But that did not happen. He did not show up. The charge was varied. He was summoned by a 31-member parliamentary panel on IT, did not show up. And let me pull out another graphic for you. The bias against rightist charge. That's another important graphic that you should acclimatize yourself with. And if Nizam Bhai, you can go to that, it would be great. Interference in Lok Sabha elections, Twitter was hauled over the coals for that. Allegation of bias. Pro-BJP Twitter accounts allegedly banned prior to polls. Foreign subversion. Alleged provided platform for foreign entities to influence polls. That was the other allegation. Misinformation campaign, accused of turning a blind eye to disinformation and incendiary posts that were planted against Modi and the BJP. And I want to go straight across to Rajeev Chandrasekhar, who is a leading light of the Bharatiya Janata Party and also a member of the Rajya Sabha. And I want to ask you, Mr. Chandrasekhar, has the time come to strip Twitter of its immunity even in our country, in India?
No, I think Rahul, it is time to take up what I brought to Parliament in July 2019, that we need to look much more closely at this use of the word algorithmic, the use of algorithms by the social media to duck accountability. And in July 2019, I said in Parliament that it is clear that some of these social media platforms, and of course I was alluding to Twitter at that time, have a pronounced bias. And when they're challenged with their bias, they talk about their algorithms. And then when they're asked about the algorithms and we seek accountability of these algorithms, there is no answer coming. What is required is we should stop protesting and whining about these platforms, and we ought to take a close look at what algorithms they have. And there must be a mandated need for these platforms for making their algorithms accountable by law. There is, bias. I'm not on this issue of whether there's a right-wing bias or a left-wing bias. A bias of any platform is the misuse of the power of that platform, and it infringes on 19(1)(a) of the constitutional guarantee to free speech. The only time a platform is allowed to infringe on that is if it strays into areas that are provocative, violent, creating unrest, etc., etc. But for a Jack Dorsey or anybody to play king and say, I don't like what you're saying, so I will mute you, and I like what he's saying or she's saying and I'll amplify you, is just pure wrong. It's pure wrong. It does not pass even the constitutional smell test. So I think there is a need for us to legislate. I think we should stop ranting, raving, and being frustrated at these platforms. We have to relook at the legal architecture that is in place to regulate these huge platforms with enormous amount of power.
Now, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Latvian's leftist lobby, pseudo-leftist lobby, pseudo-secular lobby in this country that gets an amplified positioning on Twitter, of course, will disagree. But give us 5 reasons why you think that Twitter, according to some, is a hate tube against the right, especially here in India.
Yes, Rahul, the order to remove the liability shield hitherto enjoyed by social media companies, if they censor content, is a really welcome step. I really welcome it. Rahul, if I can delve a little bit philosophically into this whole thesis, we are living in a world where you believe what you see. But unfortunately, what you see is written by those who see what they believe. Objectivity has become that metallic object that must be left behind before you pass through the electronic threshold. The biases don't beep anymore. And Twitter is but an extension of the modern, deeply polarized society. This isn't objectionable, because polarization means you have a clash of ideas, that there is competition among them. And so it mirrors Darwinian evolution. Science, religion, capitalism, communism, left wing, right wing, Modi, Rahul. There's nothing wrong in professing diametrically opposite likes and views, even if you hold entrenched views. But the problem comes when one party, one ideology, one dogma, one system controls the discourse or weighs in on it. That's where you stop being a platform and start to editorialize and play God, which is what Twitter did when it screened Trump's tweets for flagging fake news or fact checking. Because knowing Twitter, even selecting what to flag, what not to, is a subjective decision, much like taking offense or an abuse or appreciating or condemning an idea. Let me give you one example, Rahul. Please give me 30 seconds. In fact, let me test my fellow panelists. Let's say I tweet, the earth was formed in 6 days and the man created from black mud. Now science tells us that this is a total lie. So should Twitter flag it as fake and withhold my tweet? But these are verses from the Holy Book, chapter 7, 54, chapter 15, verse 26. What if the fact checker adjudicating on my tweets was deeply religious and believed my tweet to be true? Would he disregard science and pass on my tweet? Or what if he was an atheist or a scientist like me? Would he flag my tweet and ask for it to be deleted? Bottom line is, any platform enabling a discourse cannot play God or atheist, because it becomes an echo chamber then. And if it does, and that's where the diversity ends, mutation stalls, mixing is prevented, and evolution shut down. The best way to kill learning, Rahul, is to learn only one thing.
Absolutely. Sawa Naqvi, the mask is falling off. The free run for one ideology underpinned by Lutyens, liberals in just this country, forget about the West. This monopoly is coming to an end, and it should it not? In far too long.
You'll allow me to speak as much time as you gentlemen on your show. I think that would be a fair bargain. I mean, you know, one is not here to be a prop, I presume. So do allow the ladies here. I look forward to Shubrashta. The women should.
I'll give you the same free run that Twitter gives you, no problems, and unverified. You can unspool, no problems.
I'm being very clear here.
You'll get the same space.
To be a prop, I have something to say. I may be the person here. I have actually
be your victim.
Can I finish?
I want to be out of the game.
May I finish?
You want to monopolize another platform? Be my guest. Twitter already serves you well. Here's Times Now. Okay, go ahead, please.
Number one, this entire debate tonight is triggered off by Donald Trump, who, in the middle of a race riot in the U.S., particularly put out a tweet. Now, this is the same Donald Trump who our government has denied that he had a call with Prime Minister Modi. I'm just putting it in context. So he may be the leader of the US, but that is the context in which...
So you're saying that Jack Dorsey must sit in judgment of his tweet. What if he were to sit in judgment of yours?
You know,
which he won't.
Done. You don't want to allow me...
Because you're aligned with this same... No, because you're aligned with the same mindset. You will say... that you will say... No, hang on. Just because you also believe in smashing Brahminical patriarchy... One second.
I'm not used to being a prop. Either you let me talk, and I don't have to keep this. I have received the alert from Twitter. May I elaborate on that? Have you? I have received just 2 weeks ago. I went on Twitter and I demanded to know why I have received an alert from Twitter. Because one thing that we must shut down all over is we must shut down hate. We must shut down incitement to violence. I think that is a universally accepted principle. So I have been complaining against people who threaten me, who tell me to cross the border, who call me a jihadi, due to which I get threats, family members get threats. I have been complaining on Twitter against those accounts and nothing has happened to them.
Sabah Naqvi, the victim.
Nothing. No. Rahul, I don't need to be a victim. I'm so amused.
I can't believe it. You're playing victim tonight?
Is this what you require? I mean,
the provocateur is playing the pursued, the persecuted. Wow. I mean, look, I can pull out a lot of stuff, Sabah Naqvi, that you say about individuals who don't subscribe to your outlook, and it will fit every definition of hate that you loathe so much. I want to bring in Shubrashta on this. Shubrashta, this is the issue here. Squarely. This is the issue.
You have not noted. You don't want to know what the alert said. Rahul, you're not interested.
Tell me what the alert said. You digress so much. You play victim for so long that we don't get to the point.
You don't want to know what the alert says.
So tell me, what is the alert saying? Tell us.
Forget it. Carry on, please.
No, don't
Please
play victim.
carry
If you
on.
have something to say it. Don't start with the
Rahul,
preamble.
Even I have an alert from
What is
Twitter,
the
and let
victim
me
here?
tell you.
I'm not a victim. I think you guys are pathetic.
Sabha,
Actually, I'm not a victim.
Sabha, please allow me.
You know,
Please allow me a
God
space
sake,
now because
you are sitting
it's a
here.
half an hour show and you've already consumed a lot of time without really making any points. Now the point is, Rahul,
You
that
guys
a
really
platform
need
like
someone
Twitter
to sit
cannot behave like an
Because you
adjudicator
don't
or a
actually
judge
have any
if it
credibility
does not want to
outside
take
this
any
platform.
responsibility
You know,
for its
anyway,
actions.
carry on,
Sabha,
yeah.
please allow me some space. I know you guys don't have anything to
You
say on
can
that.
make a
That doesn't mean that you use up the entire airtime,
I said you can.
speaking like that.
I mean, I said you can make a personal remark.
One
The
second. Just let me step in here for 30 seconds. I don't want this to be a quarrelsome debate. Sabha Naqvi, I asked you a very simple question, that the mask is falling off. The free run for one ideology underpinned by Lutyens liberals, pseudo-liberals, is today in danger of being held to account. I asked you that simple question. Do you agree? Do you believe that the time has come? Yes or no? Just tell me.
Enough praise while you copying Lutyens. He's been at it before you guys started
Listen, hang on. The Prime Minister of this country,
I'm giving it back.
one second. The Prime Minister of this country, came out with this phrase. He came out with the phrase, the Khan Market Gang. He came out with this phrase. No, one second. Let me, one second, if you allow me. You see, you don't want to answer the question. You want to make snide comments. You want to hit below the belt. And then the agent provocateur wants to play the victim card. This is the problem, Sabha Naqvi. This is the problem. That's the problem. And I'm not going to allow you to now. No, I'm not going to allow you to today waste the time of our viewers. Precious. Lorit. Yes. Let me bring in Shubhrashtra. Shubhrashtra, has the time come to end the dominance of one ideology on this platform?
Rahul, I think social media platforms have already democratized the debate to a certain extent. It has democratized it in such a way that, on your prime time, as we saw, the classic, strategies of playing the victim card, of blaming everybody, of blaming the government which is in power, of being nothing except writing, all of these, strategies of the classic far left have been anyway exposed. Now, why does the entire Twitter roundup, Sabha tried to put it in context, let me also put a context here. The real context is that when Jack comes to India and puts up that smash Brahmanical patriarchy poster, I think people in India, especially nationalist Indians, should have the liberty and freedom on his own platform to call out the bias that America has against the, black Americans. We recently saw what happened in Minnesota. So if tomorrow, if I were to put out a tweet which is not really pandering to the ideology that the white American society would want to propound, I think I should be free to do that. And if Jack has chosen to be the prosecutor and the judge and the adjudicator, then I think he should have the basic spine and guts to take up liability and to accept it as a part of the game. Because it cannot be a one-sided narrative always. It cannot be a one-sided left-dominated discourse. The days are already gone. When we have this debate, as if those days haven't come when people can have a voice, I would like to put it out. People are already having a voice. I'll give you an example. As Sabha was trying to quote the notification she got from Twitter, I got a notification on Twitter for the new platform that I've opened up, the YouTube channel, The Churn, and for that, for no good reason, Twitter just banned it for a couple of days.
They want to shut you down.
Back, apologize. So I don't know why should we not have these debates in the public domain?
Because a certain individual wants to play God. He's in league with a particular lot of politicians, influencers, intellectuals, and now they want to broadcast only a particular ideology to influence an electoral outcome. They tried it here in India, they failed. We should have picked up Rajeev Chandrasekhar's suggestion in Parliament and moved on it. Ashutosh, that should have been done. Now it's happening in America. The US president is not going to stand for it. Mark Zuckerberg, by the way, has already peeled away from Jack Dorsey. He's understood the problem. And let me tell you, Ashutosh, we are original content creators. Our content is hijacked by Facebook and by all these social media platforms. our hard work, our investment. And who's getting all the ads? 80-85% of the ads are going to these social media platforms. Why? Shouldn't this change? Ashutosh, why?
See, Rahul, first of all, I do not understand that why we take so seriously this damn thing called Twitter. I do not take it.
No, if you want to be a Luddite and opt out of, if you want to be a Luddite and you want to opt out of, sir, a very important channel for expression, then, sir, that's your call. I only asked you a straightforward question. I don't want to listen to someone who's talking about how it should be and how it should not be. We are talking about bringing Twitter to account.
Subhrata and Rajeev Chandrasekhar were given a field day to express themselves. When I and Sabha start speaking, you stop interrupting. First of all, let me tell you very this thing called Twitter.
For heaven's sake, please say what you have to say without taking my name every 2 minutes. Stop treating me as your God.
Point number one. The point number two. The Twitter, get out of the Twitter. Chinese, they got out of the Twitter. They don't allow Twitter in their country to function. And Chinese is a leftist country. The point number three, I think that Rahul, rarely I find you not clear-headed. Today you are saying the left liberal and suddenly you say, no, pseudo-left liberal. So you decide whether you are talking to left liberals or you are talking to the pseudo-left liberals. My understanding is in this country has produced enough pseudo-rightists.
You are neither left, you are neither liberal.
Pseudo-rightism has nothing else.
You are right arm over the wicket.
Fake news.
Now, I wish I had run a poll. I asked certain questions and these individuals don't respond. They talk around the subject. This is called filibustering, viewers. They filibuster and then they say, I wonder why the anchor intercedes and blocks us, because we don't have the time to sit here and filibuster. I wish I did. I wish I could sit with you for 4 hours and listen to all your stories of victimhood, empathize with you, and then when you choose to, on your time, respond to me in your own convoluted way, you will. I don't have that time. I'm sorry. Others have got to the point. You have filibustered. Some have talked about why do you even want to be on Twitter, etc., etc. Yes, of course, that's a choice we can exercise, but that doesn't answer my question. I leave it at that, viewers. I hope India moves quickly and adopts what Rajeev Chandrasekhar has set out to do. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. We leave it at that.